I found something I probably shouldn't have. It started innocently enough. I was at a flea market, digging through a dusty box of old computer parts. You know, the kind yellowed plastic, forgotten cables, and that distinct smell of old electronics. Tucked away at the bottom was a single, black 3.5-inch floppy disk. No label, nothing. Just a blank slate. Of course, I bought it. It cost me $1. Getting it to work was a whole other adventure. I had to track down an old external floppy drive on eBay, praying it would even spin up. When I finally plugged it in, my modern computer barely recognized it. After a few tense moments and a lot of worry and clicking, a single file appeared on my screen. It was named Protocol. My curiosity was officially through the roof. I double-clicked, and a wall of text filled the screen. It wasn't code, not in the way I expected. It was a manual, a very strange, very detailed manual. The title at the top read, Temporal Integrity Protocol, Emergency Reset Guide for Faulty Timelines. I literally laughed out loud. Someone had a great imagination. I figured it was just some old sci-fi story or part of a forgotten game. But as I started reading, the laughter stopped. The document was written with unnerving seriousness. It described something called Oxcott failure in OT timeline, where events begin to unravel, creating paradoxes and logical inconsistencies. It talked about symptoms of a failing timeline, things like widespread Mandela effects, historical records inexplicably changing, or a pervasive sense of global déjà vu. It claimed these weren't just quirks of memory, but actual frays in the fabric of reality. The manual insisted that if these symptoms became severe enough, a full reset was the only option to prevent total systemic collapse. It was laid out like a technical document, section by section. Section 1 was identifying a Class 4 temporal degeneration. It listed signs to look for. For example, it mentioned checking specific, obscure historical facts that are known to be brittle, meaning they the first to change when the timeline shifts. It even gave a list of them. Things like the exact date of a minor battle in an ancient war, or the original name of a specific brand before it was changed. It was so specific, so detailed, my skepticism started to waver. Just for fun, I decided to check a few of the brittle facts it listed. The first one was about a specific painter from the 17th century. The manual said his most famous work was originally titled something completely different from what we know it as today. He went online, dug through some digital archives of old art journals, and ... I found it. A single, scanned entry from a 1920s art catalog mentioned the painting by the exact name from the floppy disk. Kalin E.T., original title Before. Eat was colloquially renamed. My blood ran cold. It was probably a coincidence, right? A really, really weird coincidence. I checked another one, and another. Each time, I found a trace, a ghost of the information from the disk, buried deep in obscure corners of the internet or digitized books. It was like finding echoes of a world that no longer existed. The feeling was unsettling. This wasn't just a story. It felt like I was reading a repair guide for a machine I didn't even know we were living inside of. Then came the instructions. Section 2. Initiating the reset sequence. This is where things went from weird to absolutely terrifying. It wasn't about building a time machine with flux capacitors. It was digital. The manual described a specific, incredibly long alphanumeric key string of code that looked like a cryptographic nightmare. It said this key was a universal access command for the underlying architecture of the simulation. Yes, it used the word simulation. The protocol stated that this key needed to be broadcast on a specific, extremely low radio frequency, modulated in a very particular way, from multiple synchronized points around the globe. It even listed the ideal geographic coordinates for these broadcast points. The manual warned, in bold, capitalized letters, that the process was irreversible. It would recompile the timeline from the last stable backup. It didn't say when that last backup was. It could be a year ago, a decade, a century. It explained that, for most people, the transition would be seamless. They'd wake up in the new timeline with memories and a history that felt completely natural. But the person initiating the reset the operator would be an anomaly. They would retain the memories of the faulty timeline, a ghost in the new machine. The manual called this the operator's burden. To live in a world where you are the only one who remembers the reality that was erased. The document ended with a final, chilling warning. It said that the floppy disk itself was a failsafe, a final resort distributed only when a timeline was deemed critically unstable. The fact that I had found it, it argued, was not a coincidence. It was a symptom. It meant that our timeline was already past the point of natural correction. It meant the system itself was trying to get someone, anyone, to hit the reset button. So now I have this file on my computer. This protocol. I have the key. I have the instructions. Every time I see a news story that doesn't make sense, or hear people arguing about a memory they share differently, I think about this file. Is this all just an elaborate prank from some genius programmer in the 90s? Or am I holding the instruction manual to reality itself? And the scariest question of all, if the world is really breaking down, what am I supposed to do with it? Do I just delete the file and pretend I never saw it? Or do I have a responsibility to act, to become the operator and bear that burden? The thought is For now, the file is just sitting there. A ticking time bomb on my desktop. Keep watching. The solution is in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.